Started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the last wine of the No Etna Sicily box. We are tasting this guy. My camera is really freaking out, going in and out of focus today, but it's the orange wine, Cala. 2024 FUSO Cala Macerato Bianco Terra Siciliana IGT is what we're tasting today. In case you haven't noticed, all four wines that we tasted today, none of it is DOC or DOCG level. All of them have been at IGT level. This Terra Siciliana IGT, I mean, we went over this last week, but 2 weeks ago, but the Sarasolo de Vittoria is the only DOCG designation in all of Sicily. There are a couple of DOCs here and there, but that's only DOCG. But a lot of these, and it makes sense for the theme that we're doing this month, but a lot of these kind of experimental, a lot of these kind of outside the norm Sicilian wines, they pretty much all go with this Terra Siciliana AGT because it's a lot looser in terms of regulations. They don't have to abide by the exact type of varieties. They don't have to abide by exact kind of a production method. They don't have to pass a tasting panel made of all these people who think the wine from that area must taste like a certain way. So it just gives them a lot of freedom. So anytime you see Terra Siciliana, the good thing about that is it clearly tells you that it is from Sicily. But oftentimes I would not look down upon, and I think in general, this is also true if you've been around 6 Foot Wine Club for a while, is that appellation is not something that is, set in stone. Just because something has a DOCG or AOC level does not necessarily mean that it is an excellent wine. It does just basically guarantee certain level of how it's made. You can expect it to taste certain things. To these days, especially with so many of these younger and natural winemakers that are kind of going outside the box, but still making excellent wines, these appellations are, in my opinion, becoming more meaningless in a way. Even from the beginning, it's always been more about marketing. It just made the wines easier to market than it is for actual quality level per se. So yeah, it's kind of I do think as time goes, I think the wine appellation itself is becoming more meaningless, in my opinion. So which leaves a lot more work on the consumer part to do a little more homework, a little more study on who's producing what, who's doing what. But I actually think that's a good thing. And it's just like food as well, just because it has a organic labels slapped on it does not, or free range chicken slapped on the egg does not necessarily mean that it is an excellent product. It could still be a full on factory setting, with a little, I think it's like a square foot, like 1 foot by 1 foot, a square foot that's dedicated to chicken that can put free range on it. Like these labels don't necessarily mean it shouldn't be taken as like the holy grail of quality is what I'm trying to get at. And a lot of there's just recent kind of a Substack article that I just read about this guy that I follow, Jason Wiles. It's a really good stack if you guys want to follow that as well. But his latest article that just came out like last week was talking a lot about this kind of appellation. Is this still meaningful? Is it still worth it? So it's been getting me to think a lot about it. But then as we're wrapping up this month's box, I realized all four wines that we tasted were Terra Siciliana. So yeah, just wanted to kind of touch that topic real quick. Anyways, before we get into the wine, the next month's box is all wrapped up, or your case club is all wrapped up. I do have a couple more slots actually available next month. So if you if you are watching this recording later on and then you just forgot to get back to me and whatnot, I can get you in. Because I had for some reason, I don't know why, this month, I mean, this always happens every month, but particularly this month, for some reason, a lot of people had reached out to me like yesterday, last minute. They're like, oh shit, I forgot to pay the invoice. Can I still get in? So I don't know if there's something was happening in DC. Everybody was busy, but whatnot. I do have a couple more slots to get people in if you're interested. But anyways, besides that, next Tuesday is your pickup day for next month's theme, which is going to be Glue Glue Liter Box. There's going to be a whole lot of wine coming at you. So, 250 milliliters more per week with the 4 more. So you're getting a full liter more wine next month than you normally get. So, which is all, all good. But they're all delicious wines. They're super fun box actually. Next month I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so that's what it is. I don't really think I have any more announcement besides that. Cool. Well, let's get into the wine. Just in case you're joining us now, we're tasting this last bottle, which is 2024 FUSO Cala Macerato Bianco Terra Siciliana is what we're tasting today. All right, start with the man. Here we go. All right, here's a map of Italy, which is pretty familiar. You guys seen this many, many times. And where we are is in Sicily, right down here. The rock that the boot is kicking, right at the toe. And we've talked about this. Sicily is kind of roughly divided into 3 different regions, right? The northeast is kind of the Etna and the volcanic region. And then you go to down here, Vittoria. This is the only DOCG that we were talking about. There's a lot of Moscato being grown here. Also, if you go, and then Cerasolo, Nero d'Avola, Frappato, all those things are exactly what's grown down here in the southeast. And then you go more west, and this is where Marsala is. Mostly, this is where you're going to find the biggest amount of concentration of commercial farming and kind of bulk wine production, especially through the middle of 20th century, like 1960s, leading all the way to the 70s. A lot of this area was really known for mostly just kind of a terrible, huge bulk kind of a wine production, as well as just grapes that are grown for blending, as well as Marsala, which is a fortified wine coming from here, just grapes that are grown to be fortified later for cheap kind of cooking wine, not even drinking Marsala. There is a really delicious, high quality drinking Marsala that's being produced here as well. But in general, a lot of that production was focused on bulk wine. And where we are today is kind of a meeting of this region and this region. So the fruit for this wine comes from up here next to Palermo in this little part. So last week we're in Marsala, right? So the first week we were in Lipari, the Ionian Islands up here. Second week we were in Vittoria. And last week we were in Marsala. And this week we are taking grapes from just outside of Palermo, just right up the tip, right here. And the winery, the Cala, Montalito is the one that makes the wine for this project, is down here in Noto, in Noto area. So the fruit gets trucked from here to here, and the wine is made down here. But really, when we're talking about this wine, the fruit comes from up here. The northwest of Sicily, this is the kind of a Catarato, so we talked about Nerello Mascalese, Nerello Cappuccio, that's kind of like what runs the game here. Here's a Nero d'Avola, Frappato, and all that stuff. And then up here is those 3 grapes that we saw last week, which is the Catarato, Grillo, and then what was the third one that I'm blanking on right now? Catarato, Grillo. Shit. What am I blanking on? It was in the last week's wine. Manfredi. Let me see. Zivibo, that's right, which is Moscato d'Alexandria. That's right. Zivibo, Catarato, and Grillo. Grillo is the child grape, the crossing between Zivibo and Catarato. And those 3 are what runs the game here. But really, this is the land of Catarato. We talked a little bit about Catarato last week, but it's the most planted white grape variety in Sicily, and it is the second most planted white variety in all of Italy. So it is just to give you an idea of how much Catarato is planted and produced in Sicily alone. It is the because it's the most planted one. Nearly 40,000 hectares of it blanketing the basically hills all around these mountain range up here. And then plains of Palermo. That's all of that. And a lot of that was used for the industrial Marsala that I was telling you about, or use it as a blending kind of a grape for a lot of kind of cheap table white wine. Here, the soil type changes quite a bit. It depends on where you are as well. But in general, we're talking about kind of limestone, clay, very similar kind of a soil type as kind of like a Burgundy, Loire, that area in France. So just know, just because the wine comes from Sicily, it does not mean that it is all volcanic. Really, the volcano runs on the northeastern part, and then once you go to the west and the south, the soil type changes quite a bit. Here, you see a lot more limestone influence, and then down here, you start with that Savi Wabi, not Savi Wabi, Savi Rosso that we tasted. There's a lot of kind of red stone, iron oxide rich kind of a sandy soil that runs through here as well. So soil type is very different. Sicily is not a monolith when it comes down to the soil type. As you can imagine, the grapes here in Palermo, just like the rest of Marsala, I mean, a lot of Mediterranean influence, meaning really hot, sunny summer, really dry. The rain comes in the winter, and then mild winter. But just because it's exposure to the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, there's a lot of ocean breeze that runs through here, which keeps the grapes really cool at nighttime. Again, the diurnal shift, which keeps the acidity high. And also the one thing that is common thing that runs through all of Sicily, it's not just here, is really that kind of salinity that you find in a lot of the wines that you find in Sicily, and particularly with this producer who actually focused on the acidity and the salinity in his wines, you really get to see some kind of like a salty sea breeze kind of a thing coming through here. Now, when you get to down here in Noto, it's kind of a desert in the middle of the sea, or next to the sea is what the winemaker of this wine calls himself. Desert next to the beach is what we're talking about. Latitude-wise, I don't know if it's going to show. It'd be like right here. So yeah, I mean, this is North Africa. So latitude-wise, very, very pretty much in the right latitude as the North Africa. So it's pretty damn south. The landscape here is ancient, very sparse, it's beautiful, like a limestone karst soils, grows of centuries-old olive and almond trees, and the wind coming off the Ionian Sea, which is on the eastern part right here, abandoned and kind of like working fish ports and fish towns dotted along the coast. It's supposed to be a quite beautiful town. And as they put it in text, I was able to find some pictures of Noto area. And this is what the town looks like. That looks amazing. So I definitely want to go check it out. This is actually the valley, Val de Noto, where the winemaker is based out of here as well. All right, let's talk about who makes this wine, which is this guy, Dario Sarantino. Here's one picture of him amongst the vines, and here's another picture where there's a sweaty pits and a sweaty shirt. But he is he makes wine. He has his own thing called Mortellito. So he's the winemaker for this project, but this is, his name doesn't appear on the label because FUSO is the name of the project. But FUSO is a joint project between Dario Sarantino of Mortellito and the Italian importer named Portovino. Portovino is actually a very well-respected Italian wine importer. We feature their wines quite a few times in the wine club. The concept behind FUSO is kind of like both ancient and personal. In many parts of Europe, particularly in Italy. People still kind of visit their favorite local producer once a year with a large kind of glass demijohn, and then fill it up with the year's best wine and take it home to like bottle and enjoy with family and friends until next time they go to visit them. And then FUSO is kind of that and trying to do that at scale. So working with their kind of most trusted organic farmers and winemakers, and then trying to bottle something that's kind of characterful, very terroir specific that tastes like the place it comes from. But at the end of it, it's all about kind of the approachability, everyday drinker that really represents where it comes from. It's one of the, one of those projects that really want to highlight kind of the wines that you can just drink if you want to, don't want to think about it, and it's delicious, it's quaffable, everyday drinker, but also there's enough character there that if you want to come back and there's something in the glass that keeps you coming back. I dug into the FUSO project a little bit more just to kind of understand. I mean, I like the idea of that, but oftentimes a lot of these projects, to tell you the complete truth, that is kind of like, they call it a collaboration, but it's just really a white label project, meaning they will go there and then they will find these kind of surplus wines and they will just buy the wines and slap their label on it and say, this is a collaboration between the winemaker and us, and it's a lot kind of like a marketing kind of a thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think it's like a true kind of a collaboration where like importer has a vision of what they want to, what style of wines they want to create and what kind of wines they want to bring into the States for the market, and then trying to work with these different producers to create those wines. But it seems like this project FUSO is really is kind of an outlier in that aspect. So apparently every FUSO wine has someone from Portofino, the importer team, physically present at the winery, following the batch from vineyard to bottle, just to make sure that it is all exactly what it says it is. Again, this isn't just a label slapped on a bulk wine, it's actually actual real collaboration. Their standards are certified organic or in conversion, native yeast fermentation only, unfiltered or lightly filtered, low sulfur. They actually have a number written on their thing, which is 70 milligrams per liter or less. Alcohol between 12 to 13.5% by design. But again, we're talking about everyday drinker, just something easy and approachable. These are not marketing claim. They are kind of literal terms of every FUSO partnership. So that's cool. I mean, that really makes me want to actually support this project even more. So not only is it wine and delicious, but it is actually something that actually has their own kind of vision and standards, and they're really sticking by it, which I really appreciate. But anyways, so this guy, Dario Sarantino, he's one of the most kind of young natural winemakers in Sicily. But he's relatively still unknown. I mean, I've heard of Mortalito, but haven't had a lot of his wines. But he's, as you can see in this picture, he's one of those producers that really considers himself a farmer first. So his family has farmed the same land in the Val di Noto for generations, growing almonds, olives, grapes, and so it's a really polyculture farming. He sold his fruit for years to some of the best kind of natural wine producers in Sicily, like who and who, including Frank Cornelissen, one of the world's most celebrated kind of like Etna producer, and La Maresca, which is one of the producers that we feature actually in the first Sicily box, before making his own bottling his first wine in 2014 as a Mortalito. So again, for a long time, he's been a farmer, and as you know, I always say some of the wines that I enjoy the most are the ones made by the people who really consider themselves farmers first and foremost. So yeah, he kind of fits into that ethos. Since then, in a very short amount of time, he has become what importers call kind of one of Sicily's most important natural producers. His wines are regularly described as some of the freshest, most precise, most intellectually satisfying wines on the island, remarkable for an area that can trend towards overripe and alcoholic. He harvests almost a month earlier than anyone else in the area, and which is usually lower yield, and it's all of it is just kind of bump up freshness and acid, rather than again that kind of a international popular style of like really ripeness and extraction and weight and all of that. So very disciplined. He has a very strict vision of what he wants and is unapologetically making his own style of wine. His homestead, Mortelito, now covers 23 hectares, 15 under vine, the rest ancient olive and almond groves, certified organic, zero chemical interventions ever in the field or in the vineyard or cellar. Only thing that he puts on his wine is a little bit of sulfur, and everything else is pretty much done without any chemicals at any point during production. So it's everything that we like. Let's see. So what is this wine? So I pulled this picture. So until I tasted this wine, I've heard of Catarato, and I like Catarato, and I've had many Cataratos in my life. And also it's fun to say Catarato. But I've never heard of this particular clone of Catarato called Catarato Extra Lucido, means extra shiny Catarato in English translation. So I did some research, and turns out they're not necessarily different species, but they're actually just different clonal selections, kind of like Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris. They're just kind of different clonal of Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, same. Those are all in the Pinot family, but just they're different clones. And this is the same thing, Catarato. So when you see on the left, Catarato Comune, is the most common Catarato. This is pretty much what we think of as Catarato when we see Catarato. That Catarato we had last week is probably most likely this. And then there's one in the middle, which is Catarato Lucido. And the one in the right is Catarato Extra Lucido. And what is the difference? If you can see, there's this kind of like a white fuzz that kind of grows on the skins. So Catarato Comune has a lot more, Lucido has less, and Extra Lucido really doesn't have any. So it makes it kind of extra shiny. So hence the name Extra Lucido. But it's not just this matter of having this kind of like a white kind of a fuzz that grows on the outside. The skin itself is much thicker on Extra Lucido. So even when you're doing, especially if you're doing skin contact wine, the Extra Lucido can actually give a lot more kind of that extraction of phenolics, a lot more textural component to the wine. And honestly, I mean, Catarato in general is very kind of citrus driven, very high acid grape, but with the Lucido, even with the skin contact, I see that kind of similar kind of pop, the acid pop and the brightness that I usually associate with the Catarato still picking through, but just way, way more of that kind of a skin extract. And this is not super important, but like Catarato, I also found out there's a parent-offspring relationship with Garganega, which is the grape that makes Soave. If you guys are familiar with Soave, very kind of neutral. Yeah, it's kind of like the Pinot Grigio of another yet Pinot Grigio, very neutral kind of Italian white. Is a natural parent, and Catarato is natural parent of Grillo, like I mentioned with Zibito. Genetically, stylistically, it kind of sits in a kind of fascinating intersection between like a Mediterranean classic Italian white grape tradition, which comes, it's like a Garganega, which comes from much more northern Veneto region. So yeah, somehow has landed in Sicily, which is much more south, much hotter, and a very kind of different climate than it is up there. But yeah, when it gets skin contact, we're going to talk more about this when we get to tasting it, but all this kind of orange peel, apricot, quince, like, all that white tea, chamomile, all that things that we talk about really comes out. And, again, I've never heard of a Catarato Extra Lucido, but now I'm going to go seek it out more. I'm going to actually purposely try to find it. Because yeah, this particular bottle really charmed me. I thought it was really not only delicious, but there's so much more going on than just being delicious. There's actually layers to this wine. Anyway, so this wine is a 50 hours of fermentation on the skins. That's just over 2 days in stainless steel tank using fermented only using native yeast. Afterward, it's gently pressed, and then it's aged further in stainless steel for another 10 days to kind of let the flavors meld and preserve freshness. And And then, so no wood here, no oxide. It's very, very kind of a reductive winemaking. Malolactic fermentation is not stopped, so full mallow, and then it gets bottled with this light filtration. There's a this producer, or because it's probably the importer who is partnering with them, actually has a number on it. There's a total of 55 milligrams per liter of total sulfur added, 25 while pressing, and 35 added at bottling. Um, that actually adds up to 60. So one of those numbers may be off. But yeah, so only 1,600 cases ever made. So very, very small production, small kind of project is what we have here. Cool. Any questions about any of that? Excellent. Let's taste the wine. Also, how do I get out of this thing? How do I stop sharing? Why can't I stop sharing? Oh, here you go. Or I want to share different things. Who wants to take the appearance?
We can do it.
Okay. Go ahead, Kyle.
Cool.
All right, Cala. And Margaret.
Yes, Margaret's here too.
Yep, in very low light. But this wine is clear.
So wine is clear. Did get a lot of filtration, so yeah, makes sense. It also let wines kind of sit in the tank for up 10 days, so wrap and filter. So yeah, clear. Intensity.
Is this deep?
Medium.
Or is deep like unheard of, and so this is really more medium?
I mean, no, there's a definitely deep color, especially but deep like you would have to have like really like oxidative or oxidized red
Okay.
wine, especially in white wine. But this is orange, so it gets in there. But like if you get like Sauterne, like really aged Sauterne, can have a really deep kind of goldish kind of hue with the amber coming in. But this is not nothing. I mean, this is at least medium. I would say this is some medium and
medium plus.
medium plus or something is what I would say. There's a bit of color on this for sure. So yeah, medium plus deep. What would you call this color?
Call it gold.
Gold, yeah.
Yeah, I would say this is gold mostly, but I definitely also get some like orange kind of a hue thrown in here, coppery, orangey kind of a color thrown in here as well.
Yeah, copper. I was gonna say like copper, getting some copperiness. So
Yeah, totally. So I'll say this is clear, medium plus intense gold with copper hue flecks thrown in there. Cool. Anything else?
yeah.
No bubbles, no deposit.
That's right.
But it's a fun one to look at.
Yeah, I usually know when I see a white light wine like this, I'm gonna like it, which I like this one. So
Perfect. Well, you got to pick the next person for the news.
well, Dave, if you wanted to do this, but I won't want to go to you if you were hoping to do something else.
Just condition is that I have a sinus infection, so who knows how good this is going to be, but I'm in.
All right.
This is clean.
This wine is clean. This one is sound. I will say though, this wine does not smell like lab clean, but yeah, for intents and purposes, I'll call it. This one is definitely sound. There's no fault on this one. Sure.
From an intensity perspective, I'm going to need some help. I don't think it's medium plus, probably just medium for me.
Let's see. I'm smelling it here, which is like, yeah, like a 1 inch off the glass. I'll call this about medium. Yeah, is what I call this. Medium intense aromas of, what do you smell?
To me, pretty green, but towards the darker side of that. Maybe a little stone fruit.
Yeah, and let's start from, do you get any floral here at all?
Maybe a little on the super light honeysuckle kind of side, but not a ton.
Yeah, there's some like a sweet smelling kind of flower on here. I get some chamomile on this thing, but I think the honeysuckle, like the nectary portion of honeysuckle, I think is a good call here as well. There's definitely some like a floral kind of depth to it, which is really pretty, which I like. And then any green fruit?
I mean, on the light side, maybe a little like not green apple, but one of the yellow varieties.
Yeah, if anything, definitely like yellow apple, yellow pear kind of a thing. But to me, this is where my mind goes, like a little bit of quince, a little bit of that like aromatic, fabulous gay pear was what I call like quince.
Right.
It's kind of a thing. Is what I get.
I don't get any citrus on this at all.
Yeah,
Not really. But that could be the sinus infection.
I get a little like orange peel, orange pith, like salted lemon, like uh, if anything, like a Meyer lemon.
Yeah, it's not sharp to me, so it's got to be.
Yeah, it's not sharp. It's not sharp like a yellow lemon. It's like a orangey, kumquatty
Mhm.
thing, peel, and then like preserved. There's definitely some like a salted, preserved kind of a nature to the citrus fruit. Any stone
Could sell
fruit?
me on a not ripe peach here.
Yeah, that I definitely get some stone fruit here. I get a ton of apricot. I think that like the peachy apricot, but like to me, like a dried apricot here, ton of that.
Okay.
Just
Mhm.
okay. Any tropical, red, black?
Not really, but
No.
again, senses are dulled.
Yeah, me neither. Uh, nature of the fruit. I mean, we kind of touched upon this already, but I think there's like a variety of things going on here.
Yeah, no, it's not like totally fresh.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
it's not stewed either, so it's kind of in between.
We got some preserved lemon, also like dried apricot, chamomile, fresh flowers, but also dry flowers. So there's like all kinds of like dry, preserved, some of the
Mhm.
things going on here as well.
Yeah,
Any herbaceous herbal spice? Any like non?
I don't really get anything on that side. Maybe a little on the flinty side.
Okay.
Nothing on the herbaceous side for me, but again,
Yeah, I don't really get any like herbaceous or herbal. Maybe there's like a touch of like a fennel if you were to like pull my legs. But really, I mean, it just the fruit here is gorgeously just kind of like a ripe fruit. There's nothing is underripe, nothing is kind of green or anything like that. And then you had mentioned like a flint, kind of like a rocky kind of a thing.
something stony on here, but that's
Yeah,
pride of
I
place.
agree.
Yeah, there's something.
Agreed. I do think there's some minerality, rockiness running through here, some sort of like a crushed rock or like a wet stone or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
not pronounced, but it's certainly there.
Yeah, it's not the most mineral driven wine, but definitely a little bit of it. Not huge.
Mhm.
Any secondary, any tertiary?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty pure, to be honest with
Yeah,
you. I don't really
exactly.
feel like that intensity, but it's very pleasant.
Yeah, I'll say this is all very much primary driven, very young, fresh, kind of youthful wine. Excellent. You get to pick the next person for the palate.
I mean, there's such a huge choice.
I know.
Any
It's either
volunteers, guys,
Chris Hadley or Allison.
know who's, how far into their wine or not drinking it at all. So,
Wait, who did you nominate?
Allison, are you
Okay.
in?
I saw that coming.
You're next
All
door.
right.
Um, wow. Okay. This wine is dry. Always. He spits. This wine, very low acidity. Barely, honestly.
Try it again.
Is there even acid in this wine? Hard to even tell. As my eyes water. I don't know, Un. Is this high acid? What is this? This is very acidic for me. I'm struggling with this wine.
Yeah, it's screaming acid, right?
It's
I mean,
it like honestly, I drink it and my eyes water. Like
yeah.
yeah.
This is definitely bordering on high. Like I would honestly, I think I would call this high too. I think this is beyond medium plus. Like I feel my jaws pulling even after I've spit it out. Like
It's yeah.
That's
Ooh.
such a big smile on his face.
I know. It's too much for me, I think. I don't get tannin on this, but I also like can only tolerate swishing it so much because of the eyes watering thing. So so there might be tannin and I just can't experience it because of
there's definitely some tannin here, not a lot. I mean, it's just I would still call this low. Just there, just to give a little bit of texture, just to give a little different dimension, but yeah, I would not even go into medium minus here. I'll call this a low tannin. Alcohol.
This is hard for me because I feel like sometimes, even 6 years into this wine club, I get confused when something is acidic, and I'm like, maybe that's alcohol that I sense. I know that they're very different things, but like I still have that. I'm gonna say medium 13%.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem any higher than 13%. I'll call like 12.5, 13. Also, these fucking fonts color is so hard to read. 12%.
Oh, there you go.
So right in the medium. Body.
Body. Oh, I'm really bad at the body. Medium?
Yeah, there's a little bit of body. I mean, it's not nothing. I would definitely call it 2%. I'll call this a medium myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, again, is because of skin contact, that the Macerato extra lucido, the high phenolic content. So Macerato in general is usually not very full-bodied wine. It's usually much lighter. But not only the fact that this only had like 2 days skin contact and is extracting this much kind of textural kind of thing and body, it's all, again, that extra lucido is a thicker skin. So yeah, I'm gonna call this 2% medium. Most we don't have to talk about flavor intensity.
I mean, I find it very intense, but I think can it be acid? Can it be acidic and not that intense in flavor otherwise?
It's not just the structure, the actual flavors, like those fruit, flowers, and things that we talked about. Like, how easy is it for you to like experience those things?
Medium, maybe.
Yeah, this is a kind of like. I mean, my wine is also what's that?
I feel like it's like acid.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like on the nose. It was on the nose, I was like 1 inch off the rim. This is like just above medium, but not quite strong for me with medium plus. I do feel like it is a little bit more intense on the palate than it is on the nose. But I think I would still call this medium where my wine is right now. Maybe with a little more time, as it warms up a little bit more, as it opens up a little bit more, I get to medium plus. But right now, it's somewhere between medium and medium plus, but it's slightly more towards medium than it is medium plus. So I'm gonna go with medium. So medium intense flavors of, what do you got? Do you confirm everything that Dave called out? Is there anything else that stick up to you?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Maybe, is there a touch of gooseberry?
A little bit of like a green.
Gooseberry? I don't know. It's so sour.
I don't really. So to me, gooseberry has like a greenness, like an underripe greenness, just naturally. And to me, I don't get any like greenness of this wine, which is awesome. I mean, which is what you would expect from a place like Sicily. I mean, it is fucking hot and sunny here in the summertime, so ripeness is never the problem. If anything, the fact that he can squeeze this much acid out of something from a place that is this hot and Mediterranean, that's what's shocking.
Very
and again,
impressive.
it goes back to Dario's picking month earlier than everyone else because he wants this. He wants the freshness. He wants the acid. He doesn't want that like big kind of a ripeness in his wine. But so yeah, anything else?
I think it's basically the same. I don't really get honeysuckle.
Like, I get more of the chamomile vibe here. Chamomile, some like a white flower maybe, but definitely some floral touch here. But like with a orange wine, I always get chamomile. The green fruit, that quince thing, citrus, that preserved lemon, orange pit, orange zest, skins, things like that. Definitely get a ton of apricot. I get a ton of apricot on this one. There's a lot of like Moroccan, North African vibe here, like the dried apricot, preserved lemon kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I put this on the pairing guide, but like I feel like some like a tagine would be like a fish tagine or seafood tagine with like a even chicken tagine. I think it would match up to it. With some like apricots and like preserved lemon, I think would be fantastic with this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm confirming everything that they've called out, like all of that. A little bit of the kind of like a rockiness, minerality, but that minerality to me, which I couldn't smell on the nose, except for the preserved lemon part, but is how salty this one is. That acid hits, but like sit with it and see like how salty this is at the end, like towards the end of the palate. A lot of salt here. And again, that's all Dario. Like this is exactly the kind of I tasted it all through Dario's Montelito line as well. By the way, really good wines, and I put them on Case Club as well. But they all had the common thread, which is that like super fresh, pop of acid, and a lot of that kind of salinity running through. I mean, it is like a Mediterranean. It's the Noto. I mean, it tastes like the place it comes from. So the fact that this wine carries that kind of similar common thread through it, it does not shock me. But yeah, there's a ton of salinity here for sure. Any secondary, any tertiary?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, agreed. This is all right here. And then finally, the finish. How long is the length?
Oh, the finish. I think it's long.
It's got some length, right? I mean, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
call this like medium plus. Yeah, it's got some good length for sure. All right, let's bring it all home. How good is this wine? Would you age it?
Mm.
Was that nice?
It's very acidic. It's, what did we say? Medium, low tannins.
Well, let's start there from the top. Balance. Do you think that acid is so aggressive that it puts this wine out of balance?
I do, but I get the sense you don't, and you know more than I do. So,
I mean, it's a personal thing. If you think the
So-
acid is so strong, they can.
for me,
cannot-
it is. For
Yeah.
me, it is. Yes.
is everybody else experiencing the acid in this wine in a very similar kind of aggressive way where you're like, holy shit, it's like this
No.
biting into a slice of lemon or something.
I mean, it's very acidic, even by our club standards, but I don't think it's preventing me from enjoying the other parts. I would say this is like still in balance, but like towing that line for me. But
Yeah. Oh,
It's high
Where's
already.
Marty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's
Yeah, I don't
Marty to
think that-
back me up on this?
sorry, Kyler, Margo, what were you saying?
I was saying that I think it's I mean it's high for sure, but yeah, not to the point of like I'm like, puckering up my, mouth or whatever. So
And I don't
Yeah.
think it's getting in the way of tasting everything else that's going on in there.
Exactly, right? I mean, it is definitely very, very acidic wine, but we were still able to call out all the other components of the wine that was going on here. So I will say this wine is still in balance. It doesn't feel out of balance, but to Alice's point, if it's for you, because everybody's tolerance is different. For you, if this wine seems out of balance, I think the acid is too high for this to be in balance. I think that is a fair point, fair criticism.
Thank you for validating my experience.
Always, your experience is your experience, Allison. I cannot never not validate one's own subjective experience. All right, so it's in balance. Concentration. We called it like medium on the nose.
Mhm.
Somewhere between medium and medium plus, but I think I ended up calling it medium, so like medium intensity.
Mhm.
Complexity, what would you call it?
Well, it's like not that complex, right? Because it doesn't have any secondary or tertiary.
Yeah, no secondary, no tertiary, but we did have a bunch of stuff in primary, right?
That's true.
We have flower, we have green fruit, citrus fruit, stone fruit, right?
Yeah.
Some salinity and kind of like a minerality, roughness. So yeah, so I'll call that up medium. And then the length,
Long. You said medium plus. I said long.
yeah, I think this is long. I think it's that long.
For me.
I mean, it's got good length for sure. Wow, actually, still going. Okay, yeah. So solid and medium plus, maybe leaning into long. So let's take average of that. Balanced, medium intensity, medium intensity, and then medium plus to long finish. So when you take an average of all of that, what do you end up?
Good.
Yeah, it's like somewhere between good and very good, but like I think I'm more inclined to go towards good than very good. Just
Mhm.
two mediums. Yes, the length was quite long, but the other one did not quite get up to medium plus. If any one of those was a medium plus, then I would have taken this to very good. But because both of them were, we ended up at medium, I'm gonna call this good. Um, age for
What?
level of the readiness. Would you age this?
Maybe?
I mean, it has searing acidity, so we don't
Yeah.
have a backbone. But concentration wise, it's only medium on the nose, medium on the palate. It's not like super intense wine, so it's like there's not a shit ton of things for it to evolve into.
hmm
And to me, what is delicious about wine is I think it's the freshness, just the approachability, high
hmm
acid, all that fruit. It's like I don't think it's necessarily like the savory layers to this wine is necessarily going to make it more delicious. So yes, I don't think it's going to fall apart anytime soon because of that searing high acid backbone. But I don't think it's a wine that's meant for aging for a long time. Would be my kind of a feeling about this one. So I
I
will say
agree.
yeah. I would say drink this over next like 3 years, 2 to 3 years, no problem.
hmm
I think it would be just as delightfully fresh and delicious now or for the next 2 to 3 years. But maybe, I don't know, maybe age it, maybe some of that will turn to some savory, even more dried fruit and dried other things. But I don't think that's necessarily going to make this more delicious. And it's not meant to be. This wine was made with immediate, consumption, everyday drinking as the purpose, the aim of the wine. So I would not expect it to be anything longer than, a year to last a year essentially, um, until they go for the next vintage. Cool. Excellent. Good job, everyone. Any questions? Any disagreements? Anything that caught you off guard? Anything that came to you like, whoa? I mean, this wine made me think a lot because, again, because I've never had Macerato extra lucido, but yeah, I just didn't realize it was going to be with such a short amount of extraction period that you could get so much of these kind of extractions, the phenolics out. So cool. Did you guys like this one? Just out of curiosity. I mean, Allison
Yes.
clearly did not like this one. We all know that. Okay, cool. Well, let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this is on a retail shelf? And how much would you be willing to pay for this on a retail shelf? It's only a small project. It's 1,600 cases, not many cases made. It's all meant for everyday drinker, right? It's not meant for aging. It's to drink now. Whole aim of this project, FUSO project, is to get people something that they can drink every day. So how much do you think this would be on a retail shelf? 25.10. All right. That's a little harsh, but okay.
I can barely drink it. It's been an hour. I'm still in my first glass. This is really hard for me.
Get some, you gotta get some food. Get something like salty. Get like olives. If you have any olives in your fridge.
Macerato.
In my, oh my gosh, I'm not this so fancy that I keep nuts in my fridge. I understand that's like what class people do.
You
No, I
must
don't
have
keep.
some leftover from the party, right? Like a salty, olivey, Mediterranean stuff.
Maybe cheese. I have cheese. I have a lot of cheese.
Allison,
Yeah,
you don't
cheese.
just have like Cornichon always in your fridge.
Yeah, what?
I have cheese.
Cheese will work. Get a little cheese. Get like
Tons
a
are
salty
gone
cheese.
in a day.
All right.
We have such
So
weird
Allison's
snacks
at
in
20.
my house. Even do.
Oh, I'm gonna try with that.
Anyway, sorry. Keep going without me. I'm just looking for snacks.
All right. Allison's at 25.10. Dave said 25.25. All right. Chris, Hadley, Kyler. I'm just curious, what do you guys think this wine would be?
I think what 27-30.
27.30. Okay.
I think
Like,
20.
if this guy is like already one of the like most notable natural wine, like if he's kind of got the start of a cult natural wine following, and there was only a certain amount of cases that made it to the States.
Not in US though. He's still very much under the radar, I would say. He's catching people's eyes, but yeah.
I was gonna say
Uh,
28, but around to
28.
34.
All right. Did you
Because,
say
or not, sorry, not, or 32. I was gonna give myself, because I always underestimate. So I'm thinking 28, but it's probably 32. So
wait, you would be happy paying 32 for this?
no. This is like, I think it's going to be 20 at my on what price it is, not what I would
Okay.
take.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it, got it, got it. 28. All right, so 25, 25, 28, 27, 30. So this on a retail shelf would be 16.50.
Wow. Okay. Color me impressed.
That's what I'm
That's close
saying,
enough. That's
right?
close enough for Allison, though. Must just buy it anyways.
I mean, yes, we call it good. Like, we call it very good. But like for everyday, again, this project is meant to be an everyday drinker. And this importer sends somebody from their team to monitor, to be part of like the harvest from vineyard to the cellar winery for the entire process. And they have all these standards on organic farming and all of it. And it's 16.50. Like, it's hell of a deal. It's one hell of a deal. I was shocked when I learned how much it was. Yeah, so not only do I want to support FUSO because of the standards and the work that they're doing, but fuck, in this economy, for this quality, for 16.50, I'll take it any day, every day. I'll drink this for 16. I will be stoked if I got this for 16.50 in the grocery store. Stoked. Cool. Any questions? Yeah, this punches way above its price point for sure. No questions? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to stop the recording.